talk about what advertising should be, could be, what is it, and how do we accomplish it going forward? I think the important thing from our perspective is that advertising has been around and will be around because essentially it's the communication of information. And how it's defined and how it's portrayed is changing. But ultimately it's a business requirement because it is the fundamental link, if you think about it, between the product and the consumer. So as we look to see what's happening in the world today, it's very clear three things that are affecting us today and I think what's going to happen in the future. The first is that we have to understand as marketers, as advertisers, and I see it as a researcher, that the consumer is in control, that messaging and that advertising could be any kind of content. It could be a conversation or it could be an ad, as known today. It's changing through its technology. And while we talked about relevancy before, relevancy is value. It's what the consumer believes, what the recipient believes is of value. So as we start taking a look at each of these individual items, it's clear to see that everybody in the room is either looking at me or one of three screens that they've brought with them today. Because everybody is multitasking and using their devices more so than they ever had before, which means that singular attention to any one thing is becoming a very, very rare commodity, which means that there's multitasking occurring in high levels and will only increase. So the question is, how do you harness all of that information, and more importantly, how do you understand how technology is integrated into everyone's daily life, and how is relevancy now becoming targetable, identifiable, and manageable? And from a research point of view, applied to business, what I've learned a long time ago is that if you can measure it, you can manage it. And that's what I think one of the biggest advantages of our industry going forward is. I would also say it's never been a more exciting time than now to be in our industry. So what should we do now to get ready for that future? The first is ad environments, the second is measurement, and the third piece is evaluation. Because if this is a business, and the business right now in the United States alone for advertising is over 140 billion, and over half of that is still television. We believe television will be dominant, but that television is turning into this. So measuring this and measuring things like what people watch and how they watch it, and more importantly, what they do after they're exposed to it, will further increase the necessity for accountability going forward. So the ad environments mean that now, or traditionally you saw broadcast networks turn into cable networks, now you're seeing online, now you're seeing multi-screen, multi-devices. The wonderful thing about this is that they are connected. Through digital technology, through digital information, we can now start to measure faster and better the impact of not just ads, but all contact faster than we ever had before. What that means is that we can now evaluate what the behaviors are of consumers across a myriad of different media inputs. So what have we been doing specifically at Kantar and Kantar Media? Again, because we're a house of brands, we've been collaborating with many different groups within. So while I specialize in the digital television world, my partner Yakov, he is involved in the online world. Our friends at Millward Brown are interested in how ads are perceived and branding. So what we're able to do is collaborate on a big data perspective and actually start integrating information and looking at it in different ways. How we can understand what consumer behavior is all embedded now within the data. And one of the most exciting things that has happened in television measurement, and I would dare say in all media measurement, is return path data, which means that every device that you have that has a screen is receiving and sending information. And these platform companies have learned to mine it and take advantage of it for their businesses, both horizontal as well as vertical integration applications. So what does that mean? One of our clients, for example, DirecTV, is in over 20 million households. They have a linear ad business, but their big business is subscriber services. We help them to understand how their consumers are consuming video content, interactive content, and they've since launched an advanced advertising application, which means that ads, today 30-second ads, are being individually sent to specific, not just households, but specific boxes and devices within the household or at the consumer level. So what does that mean for us? It means that, number one, we're not running the service, but our partner is. So what we've done is we've partnered with the platform. We are developing the metrics so that they can understand what the effectiveness is, how they're engaging, and how efficient advertising can actually be. So as we're looking at this new world evolving, we're not trying to solve every issue. What we're trying to solve is how do we protect the environment, nurture the environment through the essential metrics of how consumers are behaving, not just with content, but then connecting it with other databases, such as purchase information, such as usage information, or every other data application that's out there. We're very excited about this future. We don't know what we'll call advertising in 2020, but I can guarantee you in a mere 7 years, this business will be thriving, and the data, the technology, but more importantly, the analytics will help drive the success of a lot of these companies. So thank you so much.